What is up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the BarbacoaCore Podcast. I am your host, Patrick C. Huerta. We are just chewing the fat, chopping it up. These episodes are uncensored, they're unedited. Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts. You can follow the Instagram page at BarbacoaCore Podcast. That is where I post and repost whatever the guests and friends of the podcast have going on. Just a few shout outs that I want to do for the friends of the podcast. I want to give a shout out to CBDB. Follow them on Instagram at mycbdb or www.mycbdb.com. They're the Texas Hemp Botanical Alternative Boutique and Pop-Up Shop for all your CBD needs in San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. Also want to give a shout out to Uglyhead. Thank you for letting us use the music on the intro and outro of these episodes. Uglyhead has a new EP out. It's called the Disembodied EP, and it is available for digital pre-order for $5. You can check that out at www.uglyhead.bandcamp.com/album/disembodied. Check it out. Help out Uglyhead since they let us use the music for this podcast. Also want to give another shout out to 10-4 Menudo y Mas. They will be set up at the Pecan Grove Drive-In this Saturday, February 23rd, between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. They'll have menudo, smoked pork witches, and cold and cheap beers while supplies last. Look them up on Facebook, 10-4 Menudo y Mas. And so you can find out what's going on with them, where they'll be set up. Very delicious stuff. So yeah, that's it for the shout outs. My CBDB, shout out to Uglyhead, and shout out to 10-4 Menudo y Mas. On this episode, I have a very special guest. I was super stoked. He reached out to me and he wanted to come on, asked about the podcast, asked when I was going to bring him on. So I said, let's fucking do this, man. He's an event host. He does a bunch of different events around San Antonio. You can catch him every Thursday. He is one of the hosts for the open mics at Jokesters 22. He also does a lot of events at Jokesters 22, so you could always catch him there. Different events. He is the co-host on the Dana Cortez Show on San Antonio's Energy 94.1. Please give it up for Anthony A. What is up, everybody? Thanks for checking out a new episode of the BarbacoaCore Podcast. Today I got a special guest. I'm super stoked about this one. He's an event host. He is a host at the open mics at Jokester 22. That's on Thursday night. And he's the co-host of the Dana Cortez Show on San Antonio's Energy 94.1. Give it up for Anthony A.
What's up? First of all,
What's going on, man?
Pat, can I salute you?
Yeah, go for it, man.
The whole setup, dog. You're killing it right now. You're
I
great.
look legit, man. You fake it till you make it,
Hey,
man.
100%, bro. It's the little wind joints on the microphone. That's like, oh, this guy's looking out for everything.
Yeah.
Next, I want to see some. I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's a BarbacoaCore Podcast.
BarbacoaCore Pop. And that's not a knock on the name. That's a knock on me not knowing Spanish. Okay, you know.
No, man, I don't know Spanish either, man. I'm white as fuck.
Yeah, no, you know more than me though, dog.
Yeah.
So salute to the name, salute to everything. But I think next we need some motherfucking mic flags.
Mic flags?
Yeah, like you gotta get some little mic flags. You put them right around this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, and you got your little logo on there.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like I said, we're just audio right now.
Yeah.
Right? But I do want to get some cameras in here. But I'm a one-man show, man. I'm my own producer. I'm my own intern and shit.
Latino, bro, you gotta do it, dog.
So, yeah, I'm going to figure it out. Try to set this up with the camera and all that stuff, put that live feed on YouTube. As I mentioned, this will be the first episode that does go on YouTube.
Bam.
So if you're listening on YouTube, thanks. You're already here. You know what's up. Or if you're listening to it on YouTube, go to SoundCloud or go to iTunes, download it.
You know who's on YouTube is the kids.
Yeah.
Kids are heavy on YouTube, bro. So shout out to your nieces and nephews. Listening to this right after they get out of school.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You remember, what did you do right after you got out of school? Like 3 to 4 p.m. Do you remember?
I was in sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't get into shenanigans.
Nah, man.
I feel
not
like
till like high school and shit.
That's what I mean, though. Yeah. But you remember right when you got out of school?
Yeah.
Right before your parents get off, 5, 6 p.m., you got like a little window of just you're monitoring yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why kids are diving into like the YouTube warp hole.
Yeah.
Now, so
well, I have young nieces and nephews, right? Like they're about to be like 7, and I was tripped out about this thing. Like they call it red button.
Oh.
Okay. So this whole time I thought red button was a separate entity from YouTube. So I was like, oh well, like I have YouTube and like all that stuff, and they're like, oh no, but red button. So this whole time, this whole 4 or 5 years, whatever they've been doing it, I thought red button was specifically for kids, but red button is YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because like on the phone, it's just the red button.
Okay.
So that's why they call it that.
All right, there we go. Sometimes my friends with kids are helpful. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. 'Cause I don't hang out with kids like that anymore, like around them.
Yeah.
Like I don't have converse with kids like that anymore. So that's what's up, though. All right, cool.
No.
I appreciate it, though.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, man. We're just getting into it and shit.
Can I say something on the intro? I appreciate you for shouting out my event coordinator skills. No one ever puts that in there. I appreciate that.
Nah, man. That's what you do, man. You got so much shit going on. Like you just had that show that What a Comedy.
Oh yeah, we had it was the first show. If you go, my biggest platform like for stuff is like Instagram. So go to my Instagram, Anthony A400. And yeah, you'll see like the recap and the recap video and the photos of everything. We just did I'm gonna throw some comedy jams out the year. So that was the first one. So we did because it's very Texas. We did Anthony A's What a Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
No, it's original. That's fine. Anyway. But yeah, that's what we did that, and that was lit as fuck.
Yeah.
Cause, dude, yeah, it was like, you want to know the behind the scenes thing of it?
What's up,
bro? I didn't know if it was gonna come together for like the last 3 days.
Don't you get nervous about that shit?
Yeah,
you plan it out, and you got a lot of followers and stuff, and everybody gets all stoked, and then you're like, what the fuck? What if nobody shows up? I hated that shit, man.
Bro. It happened to us in November. November it happened to us. November 2018, we threw a comedy show. And it was me, it was Javi Luna, it was Midnight Castillo, who they regularly tour with Chingo. Midnight Castillo up from Dallas, and then Javi down from Corpus.
Yeah.
And they just are some of the funniest guys I know, period.
Yeah.
And, man, it was the same night as Astro World in Houston with Travis Scott's whole thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't know, and I was already committed to the date. So even my friends who I tried inviting to the show, who usually come out, they were like, "You're not going to Astro World?"
Yeah.
And I was committed to we committed, and we did like maybe 15 people, and yeah, that was that. We ate a dick.
Show must go on though, man.
No, show must go on.
But you never know. That's like it's exciting, like building shows, putting them together and shit, and then the day of it, you're like, fuck, is anybody gonna show up?
It's yeah, no, and 100%. That's the thrill of it for me. Like comedy and like all this event organization stuff kind of reminds me of boxing.
Yeah,
it's like, and the thing is, if you keep doing it long enough, you're gonna get hit, no matter how great you are.
Yeah,
like we seen Floyd get tagged.
Yeah,
so like that's the thing about being on stage and then throwing events is like, eventually I'm gonna get stung, and to the November show we got stung, but like it set up everything for the February show, so
yeah,
it was cool. And then man, it was crazy. Then like at the comedy jam, you're talking about like Chingo Bling popped in, and that was lit. And Rick Gutierrez really showed. I didn't know Rick was gonna come.
He was a different special guest.
That was like, Rick's in the building. Rick Gutierrez. For those who don't know, follow him. I think Funny Rick on Instagram.
Yeah,
my man's he's like in my opinion like a Texas legend comic.
Yeah, man.
And I smoked his intro so bad. Oh my god, I fucked up his intro so bad, and I feel horrible for it.
Yeah.
But he just happened to be with Chingo hanging out, and so when he's in the building, you gotta ask him to do some time.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I saw that he was on the show, and like a while back, a few years ago, he did a special that was produced by Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah. That was pretty funny. He's a funny dude.
Dude, he's hilarious, man. And like you talk somebody who's like a pure like craftsman.
Yeah.
Of the art, when it comes to stand up, it's Rick Gutierrez. Like he stage everything. There's not a room he can't. He can make 5 people laugh. He can make obviously 10,000 people at the AT&T Center laugh.
Yeah.
So he's like a comic, man. Like He's amazing. Yeah. So
That's
he's
awesome.
100% too. And I don't know how much he's been with Gabe since we've kind of, at least since I've known of Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah.
Rick Gutierrez has been on that tour. So, he's part of some legendary stuff within the culture.
Yeah. And that's awesome, man. When you see like big comics, I mean, like in my eyes, I mean, he's played arenas, he's done all that stuff, so he's huge. And then to see him in an intimate setting like that and still give like a fucking badass show, it's very special, man.
For the people listening right now, this is the very Texas comic portion of the show, which I rock with too, because it's fun. So I could talk about this stuff all day. And man, like one thing I learned from that night is, you have Bryson Brown. I forgot to shout. I'll shout out the comics who were on that show. It was King Quasi open, then it was Jerry Debo Smith, who's very funny, and then it was and then Bryson Brown was headlining, and Chingo and Rick jumped in the middle. But just being on the stage with them dudes are gonna make you elevate. Yeah. And what I learned from that whole thing was just kind of like, in order to stay in comedy, it's a marathon. You gotta be willing to do every show. You gotta put yourself in situations that you're not used to. Yeah. And that's what the whole thing was really about. And that's what Rick wasn't like. He was like, I need to do this room too. Yeah. So it was cool, man. I was able to take that away too. And see him. He was like, I was like, how is he? I've only seen him do arenas, and you understand. And like what I've been told when it comes to doing arenas, obviously, is your body got to be a little bit more open. Yeah. Because you're performing to, up.
You got to make it read to the people way in the back.
Exactly. So to be able to adapt it is a different skill set than doing like a box theater, which is like jokesters, compared to like even like a room like LOL. It's different the way you got to do stuff. And man. So it was probably the most. It was a top 3 moment in my like comedic career so far, and it was definitely a moment that like looking back, I think it was special for everybody involved. Yeah. And I personally believe that Chingo Bling is like the next wave of what we need in comedy. Yeah. As far as like an educated Latino who gets the younger generation and gets the older generation at the same time, he could really unite. So, I think what he's on the cusp of doing is really cool too. So definitely the people who were there, if you didn't go, you a hoe. And and the people who were there had a magical night. So
well, it sold out, right? Y'all sold that place out?
Yeah, bro, we sold out. We sold out. We sold out. That
was great, man.
There was like, I think there was like some people moving around and stuff. And to the photographer who tried sneaking in, I'm sorry, dog. I just had so much going on that time. Yeah. But it was sold out. But like I said, 2 months before, equally as funny of a show, we got like 15 people. Yeah. So you just kind of got to stay with it. But man, it was fun, bro. It was a fun ass night, and I wasn't like, the thing for me, truthfully, I didn't feel like I was really able to get into like a performer. I wasn't able to really get into anything as like a performer, because I was kind of worried about the event side of stuff. But it was lit. It was lit.
Yeah, it's hard to be like the event planner, the host.
It is.
And then be a part of the show, and then watch the thing you have to deal with at the door. Like you're in the show. I mean, you're running the show the whole night. It's not on autopilot and shit. So.
Yeah, nah. It's I was talking about Chingo. It's a different muscle that you flex. Yeah. So like you don't get to get into your like traditional. Hold on, man, I feel bad coughing. Hold on.
No, that's all right, man. We just jumped right into it and shit. I had like a list of things that I want to go to, and that was like number 3. But it's cool, man.
Oh, it's all good. We get into whatever, bro. Yeah. It's definitely a different muscle, right? So like the performer side of me, I had my set list that I felt like I was never able really to get to. But it is what it is. Like if you ain't, I'm learning in comedy that if you ain't gonna throw your own shows and make people become a fan of you, then ain't nobody gonna do it. Yeah, nobody's gonna do it for you. Even if it's hard, it's hard to gain fans. So like.
Because there's so much content out there, man. Like nobody knows. Like people, it's really hard to stick out. I'll tell you that.
That's one thing, and then another thing is like the social media, clout, if you may, your likes, followers, all that engagement popping out, going viral and stuff like that. Like, it's not translating into dollars like it used to. There's comics out there who don't have 2,000 followers, but you put them on a stage, they're going to entertain 500 people. Yeah. And they get a following. Like, somebody who I'm always fascinated with is like Mencia.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Mencia doesn't really have, compared to like a lot of other comics who are as talented as him and been around for as long as he has, and sell out as much seats as he does.
Yeah.
Mencia sells, especially in like San Antonio, Southwest, like Phoenix, El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
He's selling out. Comedy club, right? But he doesn't, I don't even know if he has like 50,000 followers.
I don't know, man. I mean, he had that TV show a couple years back.
That's what I mean. So
stuff.
it's interesting though, because like it's what do you want though? It's not necessarily about really standing out. For me, it's about who can put people to come sit down in the seat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can you get a person to buy a ticket and come sit down?
Yeah, there's a code to it. I mean, like people could break the code into like just using like the Facebook and the Instagram or the Twitter to just use that as your platform to build an audience and stuff. You know, I mean, there's kids on YouTube making millions of dollars on just like
100%, 100%. You're definitely right about that. There are kids on there making, and there's a lot of people making them. But as a comic, if you're gonna try to be a professional comedian in any sense of the way, you got to get on that stage.
Yeah.
Like even to like help sell your jokes. Yeah, I think writers and stuff like that. Like if you go to like writers should be on every. If you want to be in comedy, you got to at least attempt to be on that stage. And so that definitely comes quick to those viral comics, if you may, or the social media comics, if you may. And some of them are doing it right.
Yeah.
You got to get stage reps. There's nothing that's going to replace the stage because that's really live.
Yeah.
It's live, like. Right here, like right, you know what I'm saying? We're right here.
Yeah.
You know, your retweets are those laughs in the crowd. And so, you know, I feel like, like that could, the social media stuff, there's definitely money. Unless you're just going to be a YouTube person, that's a whole different ballgame. I'm not trying to take anything away from them people, but yeah, man, if that's what you want, then yeah, you could do that. But I just feel like if you're trying to be a professional comedian, if you want to call yourself a comedian, getting on that stage is just going to help you with everything because, you know, everything. It translates to everything. So, yeah.
So let's get into like your beginnings, man. I mean, because you're on the radio. Was that your first thing? Was it event planning and then that got you to radio and then comedy? Like how did it all start for you, man?
Man, hold on real fast. Hold on, bro. Hold on. I'm going to do a little light stunt real fast. I'm going to text this girl living here. I'll be like, hey.
Do we need to go ahead and pause this? We can pause.
We can pause it. I don't want you to run out of tape real fast, but hold up. We're gonna go to a nice
digital. We're not gonna run out of digitals.
Okay, all right. Just making sure then. All right, we're gonna go. I don't know what you recording on. Hey, we're gonna go to a light scum break real fast in this conversation, and I'm gonna get back to my beginnings.
All right, we'll take a pause real quick. Y'all wouldn't even notice. And we're back.
All right.
We're back. All right, where were we at, man? Oh, so hometown, you're born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Born and raised?
Yep, Burke. I'm a South Valley kid, bro.
Yeah, you're even sporting your New Mexico versus everybody?
Yeah, and like, yeah, I am. It's old. Me and my homie used to run these line of hoodies.
Oh, yeah? You're behind that?
I mean, I'm behind these ones. How about that?
Yeah.
Boom. I'm behind these ones, and the 47th with us. That's what we're behind. And that was kind of our wave. My homie ran like a whole clothing line out there in New Mexico, and I kind of helped with like the rollouts and stuff like that. So shout out to Future Clothing Co. But we born and raised in New Mexico, man. And like for us, these shirts when we came out, New Mexico is not like Texas, bro. Like, you know, the fun thing about Texans, bro, is Texans gonna tell you this is Texas. Yeah. I'm from Texas, no matter where they at.
Yeah.
And it's because like a lot of legendary stuff has come out of Texas, dude. Just so much. Texas could be its own world. And so for us,
sometimes people think it is.
Yeah, right. And for us, like New Mexico, it was like New Mexico versus everybody was kind of like a mindset for us because it was just like for those who wanted to do more outside of the state, it was like, yo, we gotta come up and we gotta like. We're just as good as people from wherever. So that's what that was behind it. But yeah, man, I say that to like, I don't want people to be like, what? You think fuck everyone else? I'm like, nah, dog. I love everybody.
No, I get it, man.
No, some people come at me like that. But yeah, man, born and raised Albuquerque, New Mexico, South Valley part to be exact. And I love where I'm from, but it's a violent place.
Yeah. I've been in Albuquerque a couple of times. One of my best friends.
What were you there for?
A best friend of mine that I met in Seattle. He's from there. His family's in Roswell, and then he went to school in Albuquerque, and then he moved to Seattle from there.
Okay, so you go to college in Albuquerque?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the school name and stuff. So we've been through there a couple of times, and we've seen some shows, played some shows there in Albuquerque, and it's a cool place, man.
Like what shows? Like what? Like clubs? Like comedy club? Like what?
I was in a band before.
Oh,
I was
what?
doing the rock and roll thing, yeah.
Hold up, dog. What
This
were you?
comedy is new for me, man.
Were you shredding the bass, dog? Or what are you doing?
Drums.
Drums?
Drums. Why you say bass? Because I'm fat?
Nah.
Why is that the
it's
first
not,
thing you
it's
said?
not specifically because you're fat. It's because you got fat fingers.
Same thing, man.
Nah, dog. It's not. You're not that fat, dog. You just got. You know what I'm saying? But
That's all right. Yeah, I mean,
that's what's up.
Oh, what? You play bass, fatty?
Nah. You gotta have like you got. I don't say this. I don't mean to be. I know we're in a little room together, but you look like you got strong fingers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But I actually shredded a little bass one time.
Oh yeah.
And it's for like a little 6-month period of my life. But yeah, that's what's up, dog. I would say drummers are usually fatter in defense of drummers.
Yeah.
But that's
I was a hard hitter, man. Heavy hitter.
Oh, that's what's up. So where'd you guys? Did you guys play? Like, do you remember where you played?
A couple of times we played an art room, like an art gallery and shit. It was really open and shit. I don't remember the name of it. I think we played another house show too. But yeah, I don't remember, man.
Okay.
But it was a cool place. People from there that I met from there were really cool.
Yo, man, New Mexicans, yeah, dog. We're like how do I say this? We're like a hard candy with like a jelly filling in the middle, or like some, you know,
I get that,
like
man.
it's a hardcore on the outside, but once you get to know us, we're nice people.
Yeah. And another guy that I know from there, he was in Minus the Bear. I don't know if you heard them. They're a band out of Seattle, but he's from Albuquerque, I believe. And he helped me out on one of my albums that I put out. So I got connections in Albuquerque.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
Now
I didn't meet them till they left. I mean, same thing with you. Y'all got to get out, and then we could be friends and shit.
Right? Yeah, no, man. Anytime you go to Albuquerque, you taken care of.
So you started radio there? You started in college?
Yeah, nah. I kind of fell into radio. I've been at the time before I got into radio, I've been doing radio now for like going on 4 years.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I ain't really been doing radio for too long.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Before that, I was doing stand up, and then I was also doing like a lot of like digital contributing to like different blogs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if I consider myself what era of hip hop I come from like definitely like the back end of like the blog era of hip hop, where like a lot of blog websites and stuff like that. Like I was writing for the Source magazine. I was contributing while I was going to college.
Oh,
this is kind of what I wanted to do. So I was going to school, working at this pizza spot, trying to I was like, man, like I kind of got into stand up a little bit, and at the same time, that's when I was doing I was like, all right. The whole plan was, I was like, damn, how do I make people come to my shows and watch me do stand-up? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll just interview some rappers, because I was going to school for that stuff anyway. So at the time, I was doing a couple, started interviewing the local DJs in Albuquerque, did that for a couple months, and I was fortunate enough to find some homies who wanted to just produce video content, and they needed a host. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. So we were kind of like a little team. You could look like this stuff is on YouTube. It's called V6M, and we did some cool stuff, man. And through that, I hustled, bro. I used to sneak into concerts and email. I used to do this thing where I would email 10 record labels a day for whatever shows were coming to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'll interview whoever. I'll interview the backup, whoever I can interview, I will. And some of them didn't write back, and some of them did.
Yeah, man.
And at the time, also, too, another thing I was doing was Big Sean played a big role in everything for me. Mm-hmm. I was, when I was in college, I was part of his street team. Mm-hmm. And so I was just cool with his homie Zeno, who's still his right-hand man to this day. And it was right when his first album dropped, I hit Zeno up, and I was like, yo, man, I was rocking with y'all and he had just put out, he has a song out with Chris Brown at the time, going up close to number 1. And I wasn't with the radio yet. I was doing it by myself. And I hit his homie Zeno. Zeno hit his manager. And the Def Jam record label rep, when I kind of snuck in to the radio station, he thought I was with the radio station, and the radio station thought I was with him. Oh. So nobody threw me out.
Yeah, okay.
And once I was able to get to Sean, I told him, hey, Zeno said we could do this, and they ended up doing that. that interview got picked up by the Source magazine, Nah Right, whatever, like Rap Radar, like those big websites like that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the one that like put me out there as far as like a digital correspondent. And Automatic was in Albuquerque at the time, and me and him had just kind of known each other from around the way, from like just going out. And, he was always a DJ like at the coolest parties. So he was just like, I interviewed him, and he kind of kept up with me. 3 years later, I used to do videography. That's another way I got into the building too. Was just I would just film.
Yeah.
And I was following him to Dallas, and I told him, I was like, yo, I do stand up too. He didn't believe me. And it just happened, the room we were at, the hotel we were at in Dallas, they have, I don't know what it even is, but they have a comedy club connected. So I was like, no, let's go do it right now. I'll show you. I do stand up. And at the time I was funny. I was entertaining. I didn't really know how to structure a joke or anything like that, but I was like entertaining. And I went up there and the dudes were like, yeah, it was just like a little open mic night. I did like fucking 5 minutes, and he was like, oh shit. So when he saw that, we went back. He told Dana, Cedric the Entertainer happened to be in town the next weekend. So she told Cedric about me. I went up there and did time with Cedric the Entertainer.
No shit?
Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer hit on my mom.
Wow.
And my mom kind of went for it. And I was like, what the fuck, Mom? Yeah. My mom, it was weird backstage. It was I was like, yo, chill, bro. Yeah. Cedric the Entertainer was over there getting Henny and shit from my mom and stuff. But, that was cool, man. And then, like, flash forward, like, a year later, radio is crazy. Radio always gets shaken up, like, every 2 years. No matter where you at, no matter what contract you in, anything, bro. Like, every 2 years in radio, there's a shakeup.
Yeah. And
one of those shakeups happened. Her co-host, he had taken another job somewhere, so she called me up, and she was like, yo, you want to just sit in?
Dude.
So I rolled up there. But at the time, I was working full-time. I was working for an ad agency, so, like, I would be working until, like, 9 p.m. at night, and she was like, you want to come up? And it one day turned into, like, well, come back next week, and then that turned into, like, the third week. She was like, well, you just come up every day if you want.
Damn.
But I wasn't getting paid. I was still sneaking into the building. I was on air.
Oh, okay.
And Dana was just like, they kind of packaged it as I had this comedy show coming up. And that's how they kind of like finessed it. So, yeah. And then like 2 months into that, they were just like, yo, it was crazy, dog, in Albuquerque. It was wild. It was like little radio wars jumped off and shit. Oh, shit. And like all these old dudes, because the station out there, Kiss 97.3, is like the #1 station. And at the time, old heads, some stuff happened business-wise, and they packed up and went to the other station. Like, it was crazy. They tried to screw them over. They left on a Friday afternoon, deleted like all kinds of, it was gnarly, bro.
Shit.
But that was ended up being the coolest thing because it opened up a night show for me. And Dana and them like put me in. They set me up with a dude, and they brought her host back, and they moved me to nights. So I had my own night show for like about 8 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I did my own show, and then her co-host ended up leaving again to do something else, and then they moved me down to mornings. And as we did mornings for like another maybe like 8 months or something like that, I know it wasn't a year, and then that's when they called us to move to San Antonio.
Oh shit! So y'all were already working together up there.
Yeah, we had got
and y'all moved the show down here.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So how long you been in San Antonio then?
Since the end of 2015.
The end
of 2015. We got out here like November 2015.
That's crazy how you just fell into that. Like right place, right time, and then just being connected.
There was a lot of like grinding nights too, man. That it's like it's years in the making, and it's crazy for people to be like, oh, so you just started doing this.
Yeah.
Like when I got into radio at the time, I had been freelancing, like, and doing my doing my own freelance thing for sure. Hold on real fast because the devil's automatic. Hold up.
All right, we're back.
All right.
Where were we at? Oh, just like place, right time and shit.
Yeah, and it was like, like I said, there was like a lot of stuff in between that was just like nights of driving up to Denver to do comedy time and then get in there to try to do 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Driving 6 hours to be told, oh yeah, my bad, you're next week.
Fuck.
Like a lot of like just risks and things that we took to get there. But it like, when I first got into radio, the people in the building were like, oh, who's this guy who just came straight to on air? And there was it was weird. It was very interesting to have people be like, "Oh, this is new for you." But at the time, to me, I was like, "I've been at this for like 5 years, bro."
Yeah.
At that time, and now like I'm coming up close on like a decade of just trying this whole thing.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, it's like, what do they say? It's like 10 years to be like an overnight success or whatever.
Yeah.
So motherfuckers like on
That's how it looks like on the outside, man. Like,
Yeah.
like it just happened to people like, nah, man, I've been working at this for fucking years.
Yeah, dude. It's like I feel like I haven't even like I never took like a turn for like stand up until like my like getting better until like last year.
Yeah.
I felt like I was always like kind of entertaining, but last
So
year.
when did you actually start comedy? When was the first time going up?
Oh man, the first time I was going up for the people from Albuquerque listening to this. Oh man, I'm gonna put this on my Instagram. This is funny. This is a funny story.
And it's funny, you said you worked at a pizza joint too?
Yeah.
That's what my best friend did, man. Brian McClellan. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know Brian, but shout out to
Albuquerque.
I don't know Brian, but shout out to Brian because he worked at a pizza place, and shout out to Old Town Pizza Parlor. That's where I worked when I was in college, and that was the last place I worked because that was like the last real job I had.
Yeah.
That I was like, all right, I need some. It wasn't like hip hop related.
Okay.
I was working there, and like I was just kind of becoming too busy, and they were great people, and I had to miss like back-to-back shifts.
Yeah.
And but my boss there at the pizza place bailed me out of jail.
Damn.
When I went to jail, dog. Yeah, I went to jail for like it was like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. So let me remind you, I don't know if I remind you at the beginning, this podcast is uncensored.
Yeah, dog.
It's unedited. So how the fuck you get in jail?
Bro, fucking being motherfucking Hispanic, dog. That's why I got a DUI, cut. I got DUI, dead ass, no cap. I got DUI.
Dang.
And I was in college, wildin'. I was 20. Man, we were at the party.
Yeah.
Homegirl's like, yo, let's go around the car bar, whoop around the corner. It was me, my homie, like 3 chicks in the back, like 2 homies on the like lapped up, like girls lapped up.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
shit.
Like some college, wild, dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't even drive, bro. We literally got in the car. She's like, yo, let's drive around the corner. Come around the corner of the main street. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Damn.
Got me, bro. And like I was only 20, and at the time my blood alcohol level was at the legal limit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, yo, I'm not intoxicated. But he's like, yo, you're 20.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that changes
so
things.
for me, that was like that. But like, shout out to that moment. That was my moment. It was either like I'm glad like motherfuckers have aha moments and they have kids.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went to jail.
Yeah?
Because kids are forever.
No, not necessarily. You could bounce. Is that why you moved to San Antonio? Is that why you left Albuquerque?
Nah, man, but it was like kind of like my aha moment.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, bro, it led to like a really kind of like, kind of like digging myself out of like a 2-year situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so that's kind of like where that took that place.
So you done a little bit of everything, man.
Yeah, bro, like I think like, man, the people I'll say when you go to jail, you ever been to jail?
Nah, man.
Don't go to jail, dog. It sucks. Don't do. There's a lot of people doing illegal stuff like unaware.
Unaware?
Like
of
people,
illegal
you
stuff?
could go to jail, Jack. People just you could just slip up and go to jail for like some dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I almost went to jail. I got handcuffed and detained while I was up in Seattle, and it was some racist shit too.
Yo, racist stuff happens, bro.
It was hard.
Like-
Well, I was drunk.
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna say it wasn't partly my fault and shit. I was at a show. I met up with some buddies at a show and shit, and I was hitting every bar on the way down because it was a long walk from my house to the venue. And I was like, oh, let me take my time and go. So by the time I got to the show, I was shit-faced drunk. The band I wanted to see came on, started mixing it up. Next thing I know, I'm sitting on the sidewalk with one shoe on, one contact missing, and handcuffed, and somebody standing on my wrist. I'm like, what the fuck's going on, shit? And all my IDs still said Texas. And they're like, you need to go home. I was like, I'll go home. I'll go home if you let me go. And they're like, no, you need to go back to San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
I
you
love a
can't-
good cop line.
You can't talk to me like that, man. I'm going to call my lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. My family knows lawyers.
It's a fake stunt. That's always
It's
a
a
good.
fake
you,
thing.
you see it work in the movies,
But
right?
he's like, y'all people don't have lawyers. And I was like, fuck, you're right.
And so at the time you're cuffed up.
Yeah.
So you're cuffed up, and he hits you with your people. Oh,
Yeah.
salty.
And I mean, they had like a Napoleon complex as well, because I'm sitting down on the curb, and like I just barely got to look up to like look at them. You know what I mean? So they were short people already, and then they give me like this whole like Hispanic shit. Like, no, you go back to Texas.
Racism in like the Pacific Northwest is way different, Jack.
It sucks, dude.
It's like so backhanded.
It sucks because everybody's so cool, and then when it finally comes out and shit, you're like, what? Because I mean,
it's like a lot of like that, what happened to you, your people. Like a lot of like, and then even like in Pacific Northwest. One thing I think about like the Pacific Northwest is there's so many white people that they don't know what to do with each other.
Yeah,
that's like the white utopia still of America.
Yeah,
and like I think there's a lot of white guilt. And then so like it's like even like when some people are cool with you, they don't even know they're being racist because all they've grown up with is non-Hispanics or like non-Latinos or whatever. Yeah, man.
And then it freaks them out too because like they're like you're pretty far from Mexico. What are you doing up here?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
And then they would flip out like, how come you don't know Spanish? Like, what does it matter? You don't speak Spanish either. Like, why do I need to know it?
It'd be your own people though who will hurt you the most with the whole you don't speak Spanish stuff. Like when I got to San Antonio, bro, I had like culture shock, dog, because like people like Spanish first to me here.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yo, we stopped doing that in New Mexico.
Yeah.
But and so people are hella disappointed when they learn we don't know Spanish. But have you tried Rosetta Stone?
Nah, man. I have very my attention span is shit. My attention span is shit.
I got into like level 1A4 or whatever it is, like twice, bro, and I can't. So after that, I usually fall off. But I'm gonna learn that shit one day.
That's what I keep saying too.
What's your method to learning it? You quit on Rosetta Stone, or you just say it? They don't go past the breath.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to learn how to speak it. I just want to understand it and shit. You know, like my wife speaks Spanish. And I could pick it up every now and then if they real slow and shit. But if they talk real fast, I'm gone. Like I just don't get it. You know, I'm a shitty Hispanic dude. I should learn. It's on me.
You're not a shitty Hispanic, dog. You're a modern day Hispanic, dog.
Well, yeah.
You're a little different. We're a little different, dog. We're a little more housebroken, bro. That's the thing, dog. We're a little bit more like, especially us men, dog. We're a little bit more housebroken than the ones before us.
Yeah.
You know, so we just grew up on a little bit more. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I was raised by like Friends, the sitcom.
Yeah.
You know, then like Ross and Chandler, like more basically my father figures. So I've kind of like.
That's the worst father figure to look up to, man. If anything, go for like, who's the other guy? The player guy.
Joey?
Yeah,
I mean, Joey ain't really a player. He's an actor. I don't even know if there's a real player on Friends.
I don't know. Well, they had to keep it clean, but you know he was hooking up with a bunch of different.
Friends wasn't clean. It was like, I think it was like female. Friends was very female. I think like written from a female's perspective.
Yeah.
It was meant to appeal to them.
Yeah.
And like it's withstand like the test of time. I rock with Friends heavy. Shout out to Friends people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was my sister's favorite. My sister's and my mom
That's
and stuff. But every now and then it'll be funny, like if it's on TBS or something on and shit. But like I can be ethnic, you know, like after I watch like a couple movies or I love Los Tigres de Norte.
Oh yeah, the band.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my grandma and
It
shit.
sounds good though. It's like a sense of nostalgia.
But dude, if you catch me after watching Blood In, Blood Out, you'll get an essay.
Are you right like that?
You'll get an essay. You get a chale.
Yeah, bro. I watch Gangland documentaries and be like, I come from that yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
Like doing damn well, bro. Damn.
You're like, I spent 3 days in the pen, bro.
In my defense, bro, it was 3 days in like segregation.
Yeah.
So it was like 23 in, 1 hour out. That was weird shit.
Yeah.
I had a man steal my sheets because he thought I wasn't coming back.
Damn.
Some old guy too. It wasn't even a dude who was like, my bad. I'm like yelling because I got headphones on. It wasn't even like a dude who I thought was gonna do that shit. Anyway, jail's weird. Yeah, man.
Well, it's good that he only stole your sheets and not your manginity.
Nah, bro.
No, I was in there too long.
If you're gonna get booty raped, like let's back it up. Yeah. That's probably the one thing that men fear most about jail. Because if it wasn't for the booty rape, I think jail wouldn't even be a bad place to hang out. You know what I'm saying? Get your food, you get your bills, you get everything taken care of.
Yeah.
Beds I've slept on worse beds.
Yeah. Slept on floors for a long time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in a band. I know you slept in some grungy ass houses before.
Yeah.
Some nasty places. Yeah. So, like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that you might get booty raped, more men wouldn't be as afraid of jail. But I think every man should go to jail at least once.
Yeah. I'm too old for jail now. That's a kid's thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I needed to go to like
get it done in your youth.
I needed to go to know that like I don't want to come back here. Like, I was wilding. I didn't think I was wilding out. And I was wilding a little bit, and I needed to go. And the crazy thing to me though is that like there's some people in there, like when you go to jail, you see like, oh, this fool's comfortable here.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable there. Like the COs and the way people talk to you and stuff. I'm like, nah, I don't belong in here. Hold up.
Yeah.
But there's some people who like I get why they need that structure.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Jail's interesting. I don't know why we're talking about jail so much.
Yeah, we've been on jail for a long time. So you did this thing. You're bringing it back, that Scumstache.
Oh, yeah, man. The Scumstache. Oh, the Scumstache of masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dive into that a bit.
The thing about,
people go back on
the
his Instagram
Scumstache
and do like the search on the Scumstache, the introduction of the Scumstache. But get deeper into it because I really don't understand.
Listen, you don't got to get deep into the Scumstache. The Scumstache gets deep into you.
Oh,
okay?
Shit.
All right? That's what it is, man. And for me, it was a matter of my barber being like, you're not down for. And, anytime you get hit with one of those, bro, I'm Latino, dog. I know I don't talk like it, but I'm like, fucking, yes, I am, dog. Let's run it, bro. And I don't know. I'm single as hell, bro. Like right now, like I am. Like I don't have a woman that like will give me a problem thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right. What's more single than a rat tail? A rat tail and a mustache. I turned into like a Mexican Joe Dirt in like a matter of a shave.
Yeah,
it's nasty.
Yeah.
But my homies.
So you're well aware how nasty it is.
Oh, dude, fully aware of how gross it is.
Yeah.
And
if you own it, it's not that big of a deal. But like, you're like, dude's rocking a rat tail?
Yeah. The rat tail, like it punches you in the face at this point now. Now it's like more of a, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm doing it for the jokes, but I'll say it's a cultural experiment at this point too. But the reason I call it the Scumstache of masculinity is because I feel like my homies in relationships, I know my homies in relationships couldn't grow a mustache because their girl won't let them. Yeah. And if I'm here to say, look, homie, you could grow that mustache, dog. You could grow that mustache. You could go to the gym without her. You know what I'm saying? You could, tonight's your Netflix choice night, okay? That's what this mustache represents, bro. You know what I'm saying? When she says, I don't know where I want to eat, or I don't know. Yeah. Think of this mustache. This mustache know where to go. This mustache is going to get some asada tacos right now. So that's what it's about. My homies salute it. They see it.
Who hurts you? You have this attitude like, fuck y'all. I'm going to do what I want.
Oh, man, I dropped my
What's her name, bro?
Man, who hurt me? It was them. It's multiple. No,
I get that, man.
Yeah, no, for real. I could open up about that too, dog. Hell yeah, I've been hurt, bro. Hell yeah, these bitches ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. It took Chris Brown told me and Snoop Dogg told us in '94. These hoes ain't nothing. Yeah. But yeah, no, dog. I'd have been broken up with, but that ain't this. I think for me, it's like, yeah, for real though. I'm coming out with a stand-up comedy EP called The Rat's Tail. And
like your own EP?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my own joint.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about something like that, dude. We'll talk about it offline because
sure.
I don't want nobody to steal it and shit. But I think it's my idea, but I think you'll be better off to run with it. But we'll talk about it off mic. But yeah, man, it's cool, man. Like, but you do seem like you do it for the comedy and stuff, but you also seem like you actually stand by it. You know, like you're like, dog. I'm walking the walk because you can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to like, yeah, bro. Like, I really is a cool ass thing, and I know that's like when I did it, I really wasn't planning on holding it for that long, but just when it happened, all my homies were like, "Yo, that's dope," and every single broad that follows me, I saw hella like sexist now and stuff. Like, look, listen, this is the Scumstache talking, bro. This ain't me. I respect women. I was raised on friends. Yeah. I love women, and I love to appreciate women. But once this mustache get going, these broads gotta understand. Yeah.
It's like the mask, man.
Exactly.
It took over on you.
And I feel like also too, now that I'm learning, is the mustache has kind of got a bad rep thanks to like pornography and pedophiles.
Yeah.
And here, like, what it is the best representative of the mustache is who? Michael Jordan. Who has a good mustache?
Nah, he did that Nazi mustache. He did that.
But like, he's like a stellar man. And that's what I mean. Like the Nazi mustaches. Mustaches just get a bad rep, and I'm trying to fix that.
Yeah.
By being just a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? With a mustache.
I gotta keep a little dirt on one time because I used to like.
Why you gotta call it dirt, dog?
Because I can't grow shit. That's how people know I'm Mexican is because I can't grow out this fucking. I get the Mexi hair that goes on like what was the?
No, those are
Speedy
golden
Gonzalez's?
grains of just pure ethnicity. That's what those are, dog. You gotta start to learn to appreciate
What was
that.
Speedy Gonzalez's cousin's name?
I don't even know
But
he had.
all he had was the two sides.
Was it Pepe?
Probably.
I didn't even know Speedy Gonzalez had a cousin, bro.
Yeah, all Mexicans, dude. They run deep, bro. But not so. I would let it grow out for a little bit and stuff. And one morning I unbalanced the trim and shit. So I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just shave the whole thing off. And I get out of the shower. My wife's like, why do you have so much face? I was like, are you seriously telling me that?
You look like a JV guard.
So now I had to like keep a little bit on there. I gotta hide some of it and shit.
All right, that's what's up.
That's cool, man. So
Don't be insecure about it, dog.
what?
But you're like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you got that scuff, like when you go baby face, bro.
Yeah. And now, dude, I'm getting fucking gray hairs in my beard.
Oh fuck, how's that?
It's sad.
Fuck.
It's sad.
You're not even fucking. That's funny. That's a funny bit. You're not even like prepping about it, bro. I'm scared of that shit.
Yeah.
I had one gray hair.
It just happened,
I found
man.
one gray hair when I was shopping with my ex, and she called me out on it in Forever 21. She hurt me. That shit hurt. And yeah, nah, damn, you found a gray hair?
Yeah. On my beard. I mean, I got gray hairs on my head, but I shaved my head, so I mean, I could like erase it away and shit. But and I don't even. It's not even thick enough to do like the just for men shit. Like I got to do like the Sharpies and shit. It's embarrassing. I don't even feel that old, but I guess my face is telling me different.
That's funny, dog.
So, dude, I was listening to y'all on the way back. There's two things I want to talk about the show from today, from the Dana Cortez Show. Is this true? You don't allow your mom to be on social media?
Facts. I made when I first got a Facebook, I was like, holy shit. If my mom was to get into this, I'm gonna have to explain to her how the internet works. Like for real. Like my mom come from a generation of internet, like they just use it to pay bills at the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You remember that phase of the
Yeah.
internet? There was like AOL chat rooms. My mom wasn't into that shit.
Yeah.
But she was like, she used it to pay bills and she used it to do this and like certain things. But when social media came around, I was just like, nah, man, it's weird. My mom's on this thing. And like, I was like, I was born into the social media stuff.
Yeah.
So I just remember my mom didn't really know what it was. So I just told her, I was like, yo, just don't ever get it. And I don't think she wants it now.
Yeah.
She tells me now, she's like, I don't want to get involved in it because she sees it messing up her friends.
Yeah.
The problem isn't like, you consider yourself a millennial?
I don't know.
You don't know yet, right? You in the middle, right?
I think I missed the cutoff. I'm 35, 36.
Yeah, so you in that middle, like you in that millenn Gen X situation.
I'm over, yeah.
All right, but you remember the dial-up phone, you remember like pagers, and you remember like the progression of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, you know, my mom generation, she's a Gen Xer like to the fullest. To like, they weren't around for all that. Like, it's a foreign thing to her. So yeah, but no, I make my mom promise, and so far I think it's the best thing for our mother-son relationship because
funny,
my friends, like, what do you? All right. Like, if you start dating a girl and her mom sends you a friend request on Facebook, like, Kathy, I know, like, I had an auntie one time get mad at me for 3 months because I didn't write her back on a Facebook comment because she tried saying that we shouldn't legalize weed, and all my friends started cutting her up. And I'm like, you know what, Aunt Margie, you're on your fucking own.
Yeah.
And I didn't comment back. And she was real mad at me in real life at real Thanksgiving talking about, oh, you don't comment on my Facebook post. And I'm like, I ain't got time for you. So, yeah, nah, my mom's off Facebook.
It does make it weird, like when like your parents or your aunts or uncles, because you know how Facebook, I don't know if it still does it, but like you could see if they like something or if they comment on something.
Yeah.
So I have a relative
Okay.
that commented on a female exercise video. And so I was like, okay, I wonder what this
That's
is.
interesting, right? It's
And
creeping.
so his comment was, how do I save this to my phone? And now every time I see him, that's the only thing I can think about, man. Because he don't know that everybody saw that comment. Or it's
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know how it works, bro. Zuckerberg didn't design it with him in mind.
Yeah,
my older brother's a creep on Facebook, straight up, bro.
Yeah.
Straight up. My brother's a creep on Facebook. He'd be like that, dude, thanks for the ad. Like,
Yeah.
that's my brother, too. So that's funny. You got a creepy cousin on Facebook.
No, it's an uncle.
Oh, a creepy uncle?
Which makes it even worse.
Oh, I mean, that's what I mean, though. It's like,
They don't
but
understand.
like, they don't know. I don't want my mom out here like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to protect her. What did Drake say? I'm not hiding my mom from the timeline. I'm hiding the timeline from my mom or whatever. I'm saying I'm trying to make sure that they don't get it messed up like that.
Yeah. Another thing I really like from the show, I think I'm not the only one, is a fucking down in the DMs, dude.
Messy, bro. People are messy, dog. Messy.
How? Because the one from today, I don't know. I mean, I the one.
Ask what you want, dog. Get it off, bro. What's up? We here for everything.
Well, that one where she was like giving y'all a hard time before you ever made the call and shit.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
She was like, "Are you gonna fucking do it or not? Are you gonna fucking help me out or not?" And we're like, "Whoa, man."
People, we had to get hot, and sometimes it's a weird thing, bro. You're about to break up a situation, so people are emotional. To get to that point, so we're like, all right, I got to get this confirmation that this person cheated. And usually, like that lady, I now remember what you're talking about. That lady was, when people like usually get that mad, it's because they already kind of know that like it's going. This confirmation is going to be out there, and people usually get a little flustered once it's like game time.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro.
And I don't know if it was you or Otto that said like, man, if you're talking to us like this, I already know that like why your boys cheated on you and shit.
Oh man, that sounds like me, but it might be him. Who knows, bro? We equal assholes.
Dude, those are crazy. Like I get nervous about that. Like, oh shit, what's gonna happen and shit.
It's intense.
What's the worst that happened from that? Like, what's the standout one?
Like people, not specifically a certain one, but people's. I guess one time we kind of people follow up. And it's awkward because they feel like you owe them, owe them more than what your job is to do. And sometimes if you ever notice, I'm usually I don't like to be in people's business like that just regularly.
Yeah.
So when you alter somebody's life, like catching somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the homies.
Like you're a part of that.
We've had homies who are like, all right, we're gonna ride you up to where y'all at. Like you're gonna be this and like off air and shit like that. So. That's interesting, and that's probably like most of all. That's like the craziest stuff that like when people are like it lingers now with social media. It's like we're always attached. So I've had to block some people and stuff like that.
Damn.
But those usually kind of just you just see where those go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people love that shit, man. Like it's so entertaining.
That's like of the people's love lives. Like as a single guy, I'll tell you this. Like women in relationships, like married women or just women who've been in relationships, their favorite thing to do is try to set you up with a friend. For some reason, I think we as human beings, as creatures, are fascinated with other people's love interests that's a little bit different than ours. I don't know why. Like, people are like this whole like Kim and like Khloe Kardashian situation, right? People are like infatuated with it. And I just think as humans, we're interested in it because that's what, like, a lot of times, like, pornography leads technology. Like, porn would be the first place to do a lot of things, and it's like the same thing with Facebook.
Yeah.
And like the relationship status. It's like it kind of centers around stuff like that. Like why are we so fascinated with other people's love lives? I don't fucking know, but
or other people's lives in general. I mean, we want to know their drama.
Exactly.
And I hate it. Like I'll catch myself and I'm fucking like, this doesn't concern me, and I'm going down the rabbit hole and shit.
Bro,
but it's entertaining.
You know what's it wasn't a DM, but one of the most interesting, funniest things to us was for the MLK. San Antonio, for those who don't know, San Antonio has the biggest MLK march in the country.
Yeah.
It's one of the funnest things I love doing in San Antonio. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And we were set up out there, and we had a listener come up, and it was this dude who he confessed to us one day. We do a segment, One Confession Wednesday. Call up, confess whatever you want. Homie comes up and goes, yo, man, I'm the dude with the wife, the side chick, and the other girlfriend. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you saying that out loud? Like, if I was you, I would not be saying that, bro.
Yeah.
And he was pumped. And he was like, yo, y'all played that. And my boys laughing. And like, I was like, damn, that's crazy, dog. How do you have time to do that? I don't have time to get through the day. Like, how do you have time for 3 girlfriends?
Yeah.
I don't understand. That's like a full-time job of cheating, bro.
Time and money. Because it ain't cheap.
No, it's not cheap. Because like the irony of cheating, bro, is that you end up treating your side chick better than your main girl.
Yeah.
And now it's like, because you got to keep her satisfied, because at any moment, the side chick going to blow your whole spot up. Mm-hmm. And they just don't make loyal side chicks anymore at all. Like, my dad used to talk about it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool, man. So you were talking earlier that you have a podcast. You're going to start your own podcast and stuff?
Well,
what's up with that?
When is this coming? Will you put this out like in real time? When do you put this out?
I'm going to put it out tonight.
Dang,
Yeah.
see Pat moving in real time. All right, so yeah, it's gonna be called Random Thoughts with Random People, and in this pursuit of like trying to just my ultimate goal is to like be like a Jimmy Kimmel situation.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure I don't box myself in by only interviewing rappers. So the podcast is launching, and this is going to be 45-minute conversations with people who I deem interesting in general. And it's like, we so far I think I've sat down with Bobby Lee, sat down with Jerry Garcia, Chingo, some rappers, my homies Trill Sammy, Dice Soho, Pilo, and then like I also got like some city councilmen that we're gonna put on there too. Whoa, and so it's just like a broad stroke of people that I just find interesting that can hold a conversation. Like I love this like podcast movement that's going on right now. Yeah. Because I just love to talk. So I like to find different people. I don't like to box myself into like just rappers or comics. Even though that's all it is right now, like we're gonna have some other things. So yeah, so that's gonna be coming out. Random Thoughts of Random People. And that's gonna be like my audio flight for that. So
when are you gonna launch that one?
I'm looking, dog, you're gonna put a date on it, man, and we're gonna do it. You know what? I'm gonna put this out in the universe, and you're gonna hold me to this. So I'm gonna drop my first podcast episode April 1st.
April 1st.
April 1st. Random Thoughts of Random People is gonna be my first podcast episode. I'm gonna drop it, and then we're gonna put them out weekly after that, or monthly. I don't know. We'll like bi-weekly. How about that?
Cool. Bi-weekly, yeah. It's just content. You gotta keep putting the content out there. And
but
stuff.
like with the Dana Cortez Show, I'm fortunate enough to be able to like generate content from that too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're busy, man. You're a busy guy.
Like no, it's like a dream situation, bro. Like the bag ain't there yet, but it's getting there. And like I gotta like, I'm in a fortunate position in 2 places, in like stand up and in like on radio. A lot of people who do a lot of things to be where I'm at. So you got to stay moving, because that chair, there's only one person who could be in that chair, one person who could be behind that mic. So just try to stay moving, man, and growing the platform. I feel like we're rapping. Are we rapping?
No, I was just about to say, because I'm trying to start a segment where we talk about news and shit.
What you want to talk about, dog? I'm here. I'm having so much fun. What's up?
But I like to keep it under an hour and shit. So any shout-outs, anything you got going on, plugs, how can people find you and shit?
Very simple, man. At Anthony A400 on Instagram, Twitter, and then of course, you know what I'm saying, the big dog, the Dana Cortez Show, nationally syndicated Dana Cortez Show. Shout out to the Mouse. And that we on air in Portland, we on air in Santa Maria, Santa Barbara, California. If you out there, listen to the stations, iHeart, the app, Dana Cortez Show podcast. We're gonna start dropping those by the beginning of March.
Okay, yeah.
So we got the podcast, but listen to Dana Cortez Show and keep me on Instagram, and then come to the comedy show, bro. If you all want to come to the comedy show, yeah, we do it on the mic, behind the mic, on the stage, everywhere, on the timeline. Just trying to grow the listeners and grow the laughs. That's all we're trying to do.
And that's what I do with the BarbacoaCore page on Instagram. Like I'll just repost like any shows you got going on and stuff.
Hey, love.
That was the purpose of this, man. I'm trying to support local artists. Yeah. And continue that and stuff.
And that's a dope thing, man. If everyone's contributing their networks together, no matter the amount of followers or not the amount of followers, like whatever it is, like if you share, that's cool. Like that's dope. Keep doing that. That's dope as fuck.
Well, this was cool, man. I appreciate you coming in. I really do. We'll talk off mic because I need some assistance with, the podcast and other things that get going on. We'll do this news next time. Maybe I'll find some new segments and stuff. This is really just a filler.
I was ready to answer some news things, but if you know what I'm saying,
we could go through.
If you want to break it up, if you want to break up, we can break up.
It's just silly stories. I mean, they're nothing too serious and shit. Like I'm not gonna talk about the guy from Empire. We're gonna talk about
Justin,
that.
That's not serious, dog. That's not serious. The motherfucker lied, bro. He's
lying. but what if it was like art?
No.
Like, what if he set it up as like an art thing? I know it's fucked up because he's trying to do this whole like MAGA thing and like all that stuff.
It's you can't. He's no better than our 45th president because you're playing into people's fears.
Yeah,
that's not cool, dog. Like legitimately, there's real people who are real people, the members of the LGBTQA whatever community is now. I forget the last one. Mm-hmm. But there's really people going through real things, and there's real African Americans going through real things. Yeah. And to play on that for like publicity, you got to go to jail, bro. That's a false police report. You got to go to jail.
They're saying like 3 years and stuff.
Yeah, you got to go to jail, and he got to go to jail to show to people that like you can't do this. Yeah. Especially in the world of like social media, a lot of things fake. Yeah. A lot of things are stunts. And you can't take it this far. We got to have a line,
but that's the thing. A lot of things are fake. A lot of things are set up and stuff.
Can't. We as society have to have a line.
Yeah.
And you know what? He can recover from this, but he has to do his time.
Yeah.
You got to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it, but you can recover if he goes about it in an honest way and says, "Look, I was getting written off," and this is off the information we know now. Mm-hmm. But if you're asking me at this current moment on whatever day it is today, the Nigerian brothers are like, listen, here's the truth. Yeah. And from the evidence we've seen and them dudes buying the mask and them guys, their story actually kind of coming up to be more true. Yeah. And him hiring defense lawyers, bruh, if this is real, you got to do the crime. You got to do the time. Like the real ass, like 3 years. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Like, I'm sorry, but you got to be made an example of.
Yeah, and it's ruined. Like it'll ruin him. Like nobody's gonna believe him and shit. Like,
but like dude's
fucking ruined.
But you could, if you do the time, if you go to jail and do the time that you should do, it's gonna allow people to say, okay, I made a mistake. 3 years from now, he's an actor. He's not an athlete. He's not gonna lose prime acting years. Like, I did this. It was a mistake. I did my time. Be an advocate for stop chasing clout. Mm-hmm. Like that's a real problem. And, kids are doing it every single day on a different scale. Mm-hmm. That's why you have all these weird-ass challenges and people jumping out their car and running into things to do stuff. And, like,
so stupid,
you got to stop chasing.
The Bird Box challenge and shit. Like,
all that stuff.
People just trying to go viral and shit, trying to be in the news.
That's like, if you do this, if people learn from this situation that we have a line in society where you can't fake police reports, then, I feel like people are going to, that's what needs to be done. But I think he can recover. He can. Yeah. He can.
And plus, like, with the whole thing, like, people only look at the snippets of it, like the little small piece of it. Like, the whole thing, what happened with the Native American and the kid with the... What's that?
No, that's interesting, yeah.
Like, people got so fucking mad about that little piece where it looked like he was being a little smug little piece of shit. But when you look at the whole context, you do the whole contents and stuff, they approached him. They approached the kid.
And they said that the veteran wanted to get in. Well, the thing is that went unnoticed in the early stages of it was the black Israelites. Yeah. Who kind of were the ones saying the more vulgar things to the boys, right? Yeah. And that's the part that's like, if you wanna say it's like, oh, left side, right side of people, whatever. Whatever side you're on, tend to look over. We kind of want to look into the biased story that we want to believe for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So people are like, oh, what? You see the smirking boy with the MAGA hat.
It looked bad.
It looked really bad. Did look bad. Everyone jumped over that. So, and like now they're saying, well, he's suing the Washington Post. Yeah. So if he wins that, then that may be another like thing that has to happen in order for these publications and these Instagram accounts now to understand that you got a little bit more responsibility.
Yeah, so, I hope that he does win that. I hope like that court like goes in his favor and stuff because that's what the Washington Post is supposed to do. Like any news source, they're supposed to dig into the story and give the full story.
And also the thing like you could look at that too is like one thing that's good about that situation that came about it. There was no violence.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's American. If you ask me, that's
Yeah.
American, because there was no punches thrown, just people expressing their beliefs, and even though we don't agree with each other, like, you know, but I like, yeah, it's interesting to me, like, grown ass people can look at one photo and instantly hate a 16-year-old kid. So yeah, that was.
And then go into like the whole like verbally attacking him, like, oh, this guy needs to be punched in the face. Like,
Yeah.
anybody with the red hat needs to be punched in the face. Blah blah blah.
Now, depending on the tone you say that, if it's a joke, I'm here for the jokes. I'm always here for jokes. So I'm here for memes. I'm here for jokes 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna, the boy know what you did when you stepped up. You stepped
Yeah.
up, and that was at that moment you're like, all right, this is gonna be big. So yeah, the internet gonna come for you.
Yeah.
All the good and all the bad. In his head, he's thinking, oh man, my homie's gonna love this.
Yeah.
So you're gonna open yourself up to that. You gotta open yourself up to these jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. That's how I feel about that too.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it, man. Big fan of you. Big fan of the show.
Love.
And I enjoy what you do with these events that you have, especially what you got going on at Jokesters 22.
Man, we got another one coming up soon out there, and dog, anytime you need another guest or a fill-in over there, holler at me, bro. I'll come talk.
For sure,
we get into
man.
more of the new stuff and whatever you want, but I rock with you. And if you listening at this point too, I really fuck with you. I really fuck with you heavy. I appreciate you, Anthony A 400 on everything.
All right, man. We'll see y'all later. See you next week.
Bow.